In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. Wait, don't scroll, please. You were led here for a reason. This is not just another video. This is a divine interruption, a voice from heaven whispering through the noise. Someone you love who has already passed away. Yes, that person you just saw in your mind has been asking Archangel Michael for this moment. You didn't click this by mistake. You were called, touched. Your name was spoken in the realm. You cannot see, but they see you. Archangel Michael says, it's an emergency. And he's not exaggerating. He's been trying to reach you for the last 2 hours. This message is not for everyone. This is only for you. And if you ignore it now, you may never hear what they came to say. The person from your family who already crossed over is still watching, still waiting, still trying. Open it immediately, Michael said, or their words will vanish into the wind forever. Your heart knows this is different, doesn't it? Something in your chest just shifted. That's not fear, it's recognition. Your soul remembers the voice that's about to speak. Heaven has chosen this exact second to open a sealed truth. It's not loud, not dramatic, it's quiet, aching, holy. And it begins with one thing, you. If you feel something pulling at your spirit right now, you're not alone. That's them, right behind you, not in fear, not in darkness, but in light. They've been asking for just one moment where you would be still enough to hear one sacred space where earth and heaven would align perfectly enough to open the truth that has been waiting for you since they passed. And they chose now. Michael is serious. His sword is lowered. His wings are heavy. He's been flying between the dimensions of your dreams and reality for one purpose, this message. And no, you're not imagining the chills on your skin right now. That's confirmation. You're being touched, watched, loved. This is what you need to know. Someone in your family who passed away never got to say what they needed to say. It's unfinished, unspoken, but it has followed you even though you didn't know their words were lost the day they died. Until tonight, before we go any deeper, I want you to pause for just 2 seconds and hear this. Archangel Michael says, if you are here, this message was handmade by heaven. Please, my beloved, don't lose it. Subscribe now, so we never lose connection again. Because trust me, this is just the beginning. You feel that, the way your heartbeat just changed tempo. The feeling that something is about to be revealed. It is, but not like you think. This message isn't just about them, it's also about you. Your purpose, your wound, your freedom. And what this person from the other side is trying to tell you might break your heart in the most healing way possible. They've been watching. They've seen the nights you cry alone and don't tell anyone. They saw when you whispered their name and no one else heard. They know how guilty you felt for things you never said, things you regret, the way life moved on and left so much unsaid, but they didn't forget. They didn't let go, not even now. You were never abandoned, Archangel. Michael was assigned to you the moment they passed, not because you asked, but because heaven knew you wouldn't be okay. And even if you acted strong, even if you laughed again, there were pieces inside you that still never healed. That's why this message had to come through tonight. They want you to know you are not alone. I am still here. I've tried everything to reach you, and now finally Michael has allowed this to come through. Michael's voice is firm now, beloved. The reason you couldn't hear them before is because your soul was too tired, too busy, too wounded. But heaven waited. I waited. And now we must not waste another second. You're about to hear what they wanted to say when they passed. And no, It's not what you expect. It's not an apology. It's not even closure. It's something deeper. It's revelation. The kind of truth that sets your whole future on fire in the best way possible. And Michael is right beside you, protecting you, because the moment you hear this, your life will change. Not metaphorically, spiritually, emotionally, entirely. Please don't skip this. Not now. They want to begin like this. I saw you crying in the kitchen that day. You thought no one noticed you. Said my name in your head, and then you wiped your face and kept going. But I was there. I whispered into your spirit that day. And even though you didn't hear me, heaven did. You still don't know the whole truth. Not about how they died, not about what they carried, and it's not about what they've been waiting to tell you all this time. Michael says it's time for the veil to lift, time for the wounds to breathe, time for the light to enter the place in you that stayed in silence for too long, because what they are about to reveal will shatter the curse that's been passed down your bloodline for generations, and only you can break it. You might be thinking this is too much, too soon, too emotional, but that's how divine timing works. It interrupts when you're ready, even if you feel unready. That's what Michael calls the divine test. He says, heaven doesn't test you to watch you suffer. Heaven tests you to show you your strength. You were chosen for this, not because you are perfect, but because you are pure. And the one who passed away, they begged God to deliver this to you, because they know you are the only one who has the courage to hear what needs to be said and to finally set it free. They tried to come through in your dreams before, but the noise of the world made it hard. They sent signs, a feather, a specific song, the clock striking a repeating number, or the sudden smell of something you couldn't explain. You thought maybe it was your imagination, but Archangel Michael confirms it was them every time. Tonight they finally got permission to speak through the veil, through the fear, through the silence. Their voice is not angry, it's not in pain, it's sacred. Now clear and glowing with heaven's golden breath, they are saying, please listen to me. Don't turn away this time. I came because your name has been echoing in my realm, and I couldn't stay quiet anymore. Michael says he's never seen a soul so determined to get back to you, even fought through spiritual resistance, through darkness, trying to delay this moment, because if you truly hear what they need to say, then your timeline changes, your karma lifts, your pain finally begins to loosen, and something you've been waiting for will begin to manifest. There is something you were supposed to receive years ago, but you didn't, not because it was denied, but because the spiritual cord was never healed. This person, this beloved family soul, carried a burden into the afterlife, a secret, a regret, and a deep desire to make it right. But they were stuck until now, until you finally opened this. Michael says, you don't even know how important you are, but all of heaven does. Some are. So here's what they're trying to say to you, slowly, carefully, with all the love they've saved up since they passed their voice. Is not angry, it's not in pain, it's sacred now, clear and glowing with heaven's golden breath. They are saying, please listen to me. Don't turn away this time. I came because your name has been echoing in my realm, and I couldn't stay quiet anymore. Michael says he's never seen a soul so determined to get back to you. He even fought through spiritual resistance, through darkness, trying to delay this moment. Because if you truly hear what they need to say, then your timeline changes. Your karma lifts, your pain finally begins to loosen, and something you've been waiting for will begin to manifest. There is something you were supposed to receive years ago, but you didn't, not because it was denied. but because the spiritual cord was never healed. This person, this beloved family soul, carried a burden into the afterlife, a secret, a regret, and a deep desire to make it right, but they were stuck until now. Until you finally open this. Michael says, you don't even know how important you are, but all of heaven does. So here's what they're trying to say to you, slowly, carefully, with all the love they've saved up since they passed. I didn't mean to leave the way I did. I was scared. I knew there were things I didn't finish, words I didn't say, love. I didn't give you fully, and I thought I'd have more time, but time ran out faster than I expected. And when I crossed over, the first thing I felt was the pain in your heart. That silent moment where your spirit collapsed, but you never said it out loud. I saw it, I felt it, and I never left. They are showing Michael visions, flashes of your hardest days. Days where you were barely holding yourself together, but still smiled at people. Days where you felt like no one would ever understand what you were going through, but they saw it all, and every time they whispered, I'm still here. You didn't lose them, you just couldn't feel them. Until now, you're being wrapped in light as you hear this, a kind of divine embrace that doesn't have human form, but your soul understands it. That's why the air feels different right now. That's why your chest feels like it's holding back tears even though no one else can see. Because part of you recognizes that this moment is real, it's sacred, and it was made just for you. Archangel Michael is holding this space wide open because they are not finished speaking. They want to confess something they never told anyone, something that was too heavy for this world but has been waiting in heaven to be said. They're saying, I hurt people, I made mistakes, I pushed people away when I should have held them closer, and I know I wasn't always the version of myself that you needed, but you are the one person I loved completely, even if I never showed it right. Michael pauses, then he says gently, this truth is going to hurt, but only for a moment. After that, it will set you free. Your loved one is now saying, there's something you don't know. When I passed, there were things that were left unsettled. Papers, family words, secrets. But one of them is about you. Something that was meant for you was hidden, either by mistake or by fear. But now heaven says it's time for the truth. There's a blessing, yes, a literal spiritual inheritance that was meant to come to you. It may be something physical like land, property, or even money, or it may be something divine like a generational gift, a spiritual anointing, or a role you're destined to fulfill, but it was blocked, covered, lost. Until now, Michael says, you're about to remember who you are, and when you do, the entire spiritual system around you will begin to shift. This is what the enemy didn't want you to know. It's been passed down from the soul who crossed over to you, a torch, a light, a sacred mission. But the enemy distracted you with pain, chaos, overthinking, anxiety, so that you'd forget, but they couldn't stop you from opening this, and now it's happening right now. Heaven is pouring clarity into your mind, strength into your heart, and your spirit is finally beginning to open like a flower that's waited too long to bloom. Michael sees the timelines unlocking. He says, in 9 days from now, something will shift around you. Watch what happens. A letter, a message, a voice. Something unexpected will come. Don't dismiss it. That's the sign. That's the moment where what was hidden starts to return. But there's one condition. They say, you must forgive me. I know it's not easy, but forgiveness is the only key that can unlock the door to your next blessing. Not for me, but for you. And yes, it's okay to cry now, because that tightness in your chest has been there for years. You've just learned how to live with it. But now it's safe to release. Michael says, let it go. Let it all go. Because heaven is writing a new chapter for you. And this time it starts with peace. You don't realize it, but you've already passed the hardest part of your journey. The part where no one clapped for you. The part where you kept breaking silently and still stood up every morning. The part where people misunderstood your silence, your heart, your pain. Heaven saw that. Archangel Michael witnessed every moment, and your loved one is saying, now I saw it too. Every prayer you whispered into the pillow, every question you asked the ceiling when you couldn't sleep, every moment you asked God, why did they have to leave? I heard it, and I'm still answering you now. There's something strange happening inside you right now. You might feel warm, lighted, or your skin is covered in goosebumps. That's because the veil is thinning around you. Your spirit is beginning to listen with a deeper ear, a holy ear, the kind that hears between words, the kind that feels truth instead of analyzing it. And the truth is this: they never left you, not for a moment. And now they want to give you something before the door closes again. Michael is holding the gate open, but only for a few more moments. The one who passed is reaching across now. Their soul is glowing with golden light, their voice trembling with something you haven't heard from them in a long time. Love without fear. And they are saying, I know I disappointed you. I know I made you question your worth. I know I didn't protect you the way I should have. But I need you to know it wasn't because I didn't love you. It was because I didn't know how to love myself. I was broken. And I passed down some of that pain to you, but I've begged God every day to let me send you healing from the other side. You feel that lump in your throat? That's your spirit starting to open. Because these words were meant for a version of you that never got closure, a younger version, a sadder version, a sacred version. And a healing is beginning. Michael says, beloved, you must not run from this pain. This is sacred pain. It's the kind that cleanses, that awakens, that frees. It's okay to feel it. It's okay to cry. You're not alone. They'll say more now. There's something you don't know. Before I died, I had a dream you were in it. You were older, wiser, glowing with something I never reach in this life. And I knew you were going to break the cycle that broke me. That's why I've been trying to reach you. Your life has meaning beyond what you were told. You've been called not by accident, not by chance. You were chosen to finish what they couldn't. Here is what's being released over you now. A release of guilt for the things you couldn't change. A release of shame for the things you believed were your fault. A release of fear for the future that once felt uncertain, because it isn't uncertain anymore. It's unfolding quietly, powerfully, divinely. Michael has one final prophecy to give you in this moment. It's short, but it will stay with you forever. He leans close and says, in 7 days you will hear something that shifts your path. It may come from a person, a stranger, a dream, or even a delay, but when it comes, your soul will know this is the sign, this is the answer to the thing you've been silently begging God to reveal. The angels have been preparing it behind the scenes, and now it's almost time. But wait. There's one last thing the soul who crossed over wants to give you, a blessing, one that was held back all this time, waiting for your heart to be ready. They say, I bless you with peace. Not temporary peace, but the kind that stays. I bless your home, I bless your name, I bless your future family. I bless the money you earn, and the love you receive, and the joy you are about to feel. No curse will continue through you. You will end what broke us. You will begin what heals everyone. After you, Michael now opens his hand, revealing a glowing key. He says, this is yours now, you've earned it. And when you close this message, something in the invisible will open. It's already happening. You may not see it yet, but your spirit knows the shift has already begun. And the soul who brought you this message, they are smiling. They are free now, because they finally said what they needed to say. And they know you heard them. And now they can rest in peace. But you are about to rise in power. This is your moment now. Your turn. Heaven says, go and don't look back. Michael's wings are slowly folding now. The air around you is settling, but your spirit is glowing, because you just passed through something sacred. You didn't just watch a message. You stepped through a divine doorway. And now heaven has recorded your name beside one word, awakened, the one who crossed over. They're not crying anymore. They're not in pain. They're looking at you like you're the brightest light in the universe. Because to them you are the one who survived. You are the one who answered the call. You are the one who chose love instead of anger, healing instead of bitterness. You broke the silence. You heard the voice that others ignored. And now you've become the bridge, the spiritual connection between what was and what will be. Michael speaks one last time. Beloved, do not forget this moment. This is the hour. Heaven kissed your pain and called you holy even now. Light is swirling around your next 7 days. You'll begin to notice it in small ways. Unexpected kindness from a stranger, a sudden breeze in a quiet room, a vivid dream that feels more real than memory, a number that keeps repeating itself, or a phone call that changes everything. Pay attention, heaven is not done speaking, because now that the first message has been delivered, others will follow. Now that you've been opened, aligned, anointed, new doors will begin to appear, some invisible, some impossible, but all of them created just for you. The soul who passed is now placing their hand on your shoulder. No, you can't feel it with your skin, but your soul feels it. That's why your eyes are watering. That's why your breath feels different. That's why your heart has softened just a little more than you expected. Because what they gave you was more than words. They gave you permission to heal. They gave you their final gift, peace. And they're saying, don't go backward. Don't stay stuck. You're not meant to live in pain anymore. You're meant to create light. You're meant to love again. You're meant to walk into places no one in our family ever reached. Michael smiles now, his hand over his heart. He's proud of you. He says, you've unlocked a lineage blessing. It started with them, but it ends with you. And after today, it multiplies. There are people you haven't even met yet who will thank you one day. Children not yet born, strangers who will feel healed just by your presence. They won't know why, but you will. It's because you carry heaven now. You carry the voice of someone who never stopped loving you, and carry the light of a promise that cannot be undone. Before you go, heaven has one final whisper for you. What was taken from you is coming back. What you thought was over is being resurrected, and what you've been waiting for is already on its way. You don't need to beg anymore. You don't need to chase. You just need to stay open, stay faithful, stay soft. The blessings already know your name and they're coming home. Michael leans close now. Just you and him. No noise, no fear, only truth. And he says this, if you remember only one thing, remember this. Heaven never forgot you. Not once, not for a second, and they never will. They saw every tear, every prayer, every time. You almost gave up but didn't. That's why they brought you here. That's why this message had to reach you now. And if this message touched even one corner of your soul, please subscribe so you never miss what heaven is preparing next for you. Because the next message will be even more personal. This is not goodbye, this is the beginning. Close your eyes, breathe. Heaven is watching and they are smiling because you finally heard them. And they are smiling because you finally heard them. And they've never loved you more than they do in this moment. Even after this message ends, heaven will still be near you. May return to your day, to the noise, to the routine. But something in you will have shifted. You'll find yourself thinking a little deeper, feeling a little softer, breathing a little differently. That's not a coincidence. That's because something eternal has touched something temporary and left a mark. You might find feathers in strange places, see numbers repeating, or feel a quiet warmth when you're alone. Those are not small signs. Those are holy confirmations. Heaven is following up on this message with a whisper. Yes, we meant it. And when you speak their name tonight, even just in your mind, they will hear it. When you close your eyes and feel peace for no reason, that's them again. When the unexpected moment comes, and it will, when a conversation shifts your life or a miracle interrupts your week, remember this moment. You didn't imagine this. You didn't make this up. You didn't find this by chance. You were summoned here because heaven has chosen you as the one who breaks what was, creates what will be. Michael will walk beside you now, and the soul who came to speak, they will be closer than ever before. This bond is now eternal. And if you ever forget what you just felt, come back here. Replay this, not because the words are magic, but because they are real and they were meant for you. One more thing, if your heart is still open, let it remain open. Because the next miracle won't knock, it will simply enter. And when it does, you'll smile softly to yourself and say, I remember heaven told me this was coming. Beloved, your journey isn't cursed. You were never abandoned. You were being positioned. You are not being punished, you are being positioned. The one who hurt you was never in control. God saw every moment they tried to dim your light. Every manipulative silence, every guilt trip, every moment you bent just to be enough for someone who never truly saw you. But God always saw you. And today Michael says, God is placing you back on your throne, not just emotionally, but spiritually, financially, energetically. You are about to rise in every way. The enemy tried to bury you, and here is the miracle you didn't expect. The person who broke your heart has now become the fuel for your divine restoration. God is using the fragments of your heartbreak to build something holy, something permanent, something eternal. So if your chest feels tight, if your spirit feels heavy right now, it's because your soul is remembering what it was born to be. Not abandoned, but anointed. Not broken, but chosen. Not forgotten, but chosen. Not forgotten, but anointed. Not broken, but chosen. Not forgotten, but anointed. Not broken, but chosen. Not forgotten, but chosen. Not forgotten, but chosen. Not abandoned, but anointed. Not broken, but chosen. Not forgotten, but chosen. Not abandoned, but anointed. Not broken, but chosen. Not forgotten, but chosen. Not abandoned, but anointed. Not broken, but chosen. Not abandoned, but anointed. Not the silence you've been enduring. Michael says that silence was sacred. It wasn't emptiness. It was God preparing your new beginning in secret. But now heaven is about to make it loud. You're going to start hearing your name in rooms you've never entered. Opportunities are going to start appearing from nowhere. Things that once terrified you will start to excite you. That is how you'll know the shift is real, because the heartbreak was real, but the healing will be even more powerful. Michael asks you to remember this. When the enemy loses access to your heart, they will try to re-enter through your memory. Don't let them. If they come back pretending to have changed, remember what they did when they thought you had no power. Forgive them. But don't forget how far you've come. This time you are no longer their victim. You are God's testimony, a walking miracle, a living prophecy. You are no longer in survival mode. You are stepping into supernatural revival. The angels are circling your name tonight. They're writing a new chapter, one without betrayal, one without begging, one without shame. A chapter where you are loved deeply, loudly and safely. And here's final message Michael wants you to carry. The person who once broke you will not recognize you after this, because they hurt the version of you that needed love to survive. But they will never touch the version of you that learned to love themselves. That version of you is already being born even now. Your energy is changing. Heaven is surrounding you, and soon you'll start to feel lighter, more clear, more certain. That's what happens when angels remove what was never meant to stay. So when you wake up tomorrow and the air feels different when you hear that one song again, the one that always makes you cry, when the text comes in, or the name pops into your mind, or the door finally closes, let it all happen, because this time you're not watching the heartbreak ruin you, you're watching it rewrite you into someone stronger, someone softer, someone more spiritually aligned with the life you were always meant to live. Michael is smiling now, his wings glowing with joy, because you listened. You didn't skip this. You stayed long enough to hear what most people ignore, that your pain has purpose, and the heartbreak was always leading you here to this message, to this moment, to this miracle. Breathe, beloved, because your soul just survived the storm and your blessings are already on their way. Yes, let's continue and complete this with one final sacred wave of divine reassurance, so your viewer doesn't just leave moved, but forever marked by heaven's voice in their heart, because what happens next is something you were born for. Michael lowers his sword now, not in defeat, but in reverence. The battle for your spirit was fierce. The enemy tried everything: confusion, loneliness, rejection, abandonment, even self-blame. But they lost because you stayed standing. You didn't give up even when you thought you might. You didn't walk away from your light. You kept walking, kept praying, kept believing, even if your voice trembled, even when your faith cracked, even when you felt like maybe God had forgotten. But heaven never forgets its children, especially not the ones who cry in secret. And now the reward for your endurance is arriving, not just in the form of a blessing, but in the form of a revelation. You are no longer bound to the story where love means pain. You are no longer tied to the version of you who begged for clarity from people who fed you silence. You are no longer cursed to repeat what you barely survived. You are right now being reborn as someone who is free. Free from guilt, free from emotional debt, free from performing just to feel wanted. Michael wants you to remember something powerful. Every time you thought it was over, it was actually just beginning. And this heartbreak, this moment, this sacred unraveling, it's your spiritual graduation. He says, look at you still standing, still glowing, still worthy after everything. The old you would have stayed silent. The old you would have explained away the red flags. The old you would have accepted the apology without changed behavior. But the old you is gone. The heartbreak buried them. And from that heartbreak, God raised someone divine. Now, you're not just surviving love. You're about to receive it. Real love. The kind that doesn't confuse. You're the kind that doesn't go missing when you need it. The kind that makes you feel seen even when you're silent. And Michael says, this love begins with you. You are your first miracle. You are the answered prayer. You are the one who made it out of that room crying and still somehow lit a candle for others. So breathe, because soon you're going to look back and say, I didn't just survive that season. I became sacred in the middle of it. And finally, as this message draws its holy close, let these words be etched deep into your heart. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too hard to love. You are simply too sacred for what tried to keep you. Now your angels are rejoicing. Michael is lifting your name before God, and heaven is opening a new book. The page turns now. The chapter begins now. The story heals now. If your heart is beating louder, if your breath is shaking, if your eyes are filling up, know this. It's not just emotion, it's activation. You are being remembered by heaven. And the one who hurt you, they're going to remember what they lost, but you're going to remember who you are, and who you are is God's miracle. Yes, beloved, let's breathe together now, because even though the words are ending, the divine movement in your life is just beginning. Michael lingers now, not rushing, not retreating, but staying with you, hand over your heart, because what just happened in your spirit is bigger than you realize. You didn't just receive a message, you answered a calling. Heaven doesn't speak to everyone like this, but for you, the angels made an exception. For you, the timing was precise. The tone was sacred. The delivery urgent, because your heart, your beautiful, scarred, sacred heart is rare. And God does not ignore rare things. So if you feel a shift, if your hands are shaking, if your chest feels wide open, if your eyes are glazed with tears, it means you've just been visited. This was not imagination. This was divine intervention. Yes? We'll keep going. One final breath in the divine. The message has ended, but something inside still needs holding. These last words are like a lullaby for the soul, a sacred aftertaste that stays in the heart long after. The voice has faded, so let's not rush. Let's allow the silence to speak. If you're still here, it means your soul is listening, not your mind, not your logic, but the deeper part of you, the part that's always known. There's more than this world shows you, and yes, there is more healing, more connection, more joy, but above all, more purpose. Archangel Michael doesn't visit lightly. He doesn't speak unless heaven commands. And tonight, he didn't just bring you a message. He brought you confirmation that you're not crazy, that you're not cursed, that you're not lost, you're chosen. And everything that's been falling apart, it's not the end, it's alignment. God is rearranging things in your life. Some people will exit, some plans will pause, some feelings will confuse you, but it's not punishment, it's positioning. Heaven knows what's next. And so does your soul. You're being placed into something greater than you imagined, but first the clearing, the silence, the surrender. And now you've surrendered, you stayed for the whole message. You didn't run. You listen with your heart open. You let yourself feel. That's how miracles begin. That's how lives change, not through force, but through divine remembrance. So remember this, you are the prayer someone else once whispered to God. You are the miracle someone in heaven waited to see. You are the continuation of a love that never died. And when you walk away from this message, don't forget who you became while reading it. You became whole. Michael will not leave your sight. Now the one who passed They are a sign to your light, and every time you doubt again, they'll be closer than breath, reminding you with signs, whispers, and sudden peace that feels like it came out of nowhere. It didn't. It came from them. So beloved, go forward with softness, with strength, with the memory of this moment stitched into your heart like a sacred promise. And when you start to forget, come back, read again, breathe again. Let heaven speak again, because this message may end, but their love will.